on. Okay, next module. Okay, listen in. Next module, we're going to be talking about relationships. Okay, mentors can play a variety of different roles depending on the needs of their mentee at any given time. So what I would like you to do, just for the next 3-4 minutes, just think about, and maybe write on your flip chart here, your bit of paper, what sort of roles do you see yourself fulfilling as a mentor? Off you go. Just 2 or 3 minutes, have a discussion. So what sort of roles do you think you would be fulfilling as a mentor? Could be a coach educator? Yeah. Counsel as well, listening to their ideas and coming up with what their decisions, how that's going to impact. So it's different caps sometimes we juggle as mentors. You need to be a facilitator. You need to facilitate practices so the coaches can use certain new skills. You can get those new skill sets out and observe them that you've been talking about. So it's not a matter of just turning up and what went well, what you could do better. It's lots of different things that you need. So I'm giving you a few you could... So you got any ideas on this table? You were a bit over there, didn't you?
So you said like, mine's in supporting new staff and implementing our company.
So facilitating, supporting. So you're a coach educator as well. About knowing, educating them. Okay, last minute. And be prepared to share your ideas. Okay then, so we'll start with this table here, the different caps as we talked about you would use or wear being a mentor. Yeah. So what do you mean by an educator? So yeah, and how would you do that? Different scenario? So you're a coach educator. Any this table here?
Yeah, we have supporting, educating, lead by example, being resourceful.
So if we go back to supporting, you want to abbreviate on that for us as well? What do you mean by supporting?
Supporting the needs of the coach or the person. So that could be not just listening, but it could be
Brilliant, good, good. The back table. A leader. Yep. I think that falls into two brackets for me: the coach educator, and also a facilitator, facilitating practices to get certain new skills out within the session. You might be working on managing behaviour in a session. You might have talked about it, and you might then go and facilitate a practice to actually, for them to observe that actually happening live as well. Okay, so coach educator, facilitator, you need to be supporting as well. Anything else do you think, this table here? Do you come up with anything else? Definitely, definitely. To help the mentor explore the potential of their decisions that potentially could have an impact on their players and clubs and parents as well, so definitely a soundboard. And the other one I came up with when I knew I was going to do this relationship was sponsor. Promote and refer the mentor or mentee to others. So provide, signpost them to others, to resources as well, and let them into your network. So already I've had a conversation, oh, I've got his name now already. I had a conversation with you already. I've linked you into my network and signposted him and helped him out as well. So as a mentor, for me, there's 5 different caps. We're a coach educator, so we're showing them how to perform a task or an activity, providing that feedback like this table talked about. We need to facilitate practices to get our learning objectives out and what we've been talking about. Counsel as well. We need to be that soundboard to them. Sponsor. Signpost them to wherever they need to go. Open your network out of contacts. So one of my mentees, I signpost him to, we've got an app, the FA Coaches app. He wanted more resources, and it's an app, the FA Coaches app, free to download for any of you, which is a brilliant tool. So he finished work, he literally had half an hour change around before he had to get to his session. Now he goes on the FA Coaches app in lunchtime and stuff. The sessions are on there, whatever you want to do. It walks you through the session, and also at the end of the session, there's a video of an FA tutor actually delivering that session as well. So it's a very, very good resource to have as well. And also, what this table said is support as well. You need to support your mentee. Now, wearing those 5 different caps, your approach towards any of them will depend on the direct and indirect influences you've had in your football journey. So, for instance, my influences, my direct influences, growing up as a young player, my mum and dad were a great influence on me. They listened to me. They spent time with me as well, travelled around. And that's when they were a big influence on my football career. And the biggest thing for me, they gave me time out in the garden playing football, whatever it may be. Later on in my career, youth football, under 10s, 12s, I went to a local team, Kings Kerswell, and we had a manager there, Bernie Norman. Now, we had quite a good team there, winning the county cups, Devon cups, and we're all friends outside of there as well. But he was more of a facilitator looking back now and reflecting on it. And he could motivate us, the team, individually and collectively, but he wasn't a coach. So we were quite lucky. Within that team, we had a couple of the dads came in and coached us. We had Paul Compton, ex-player at Torquay United, Bournemouth, played for Torquay United as well. He's now Southampton's head of recruitment for the South West. We had John Impey, ex-Torquay United manager, had a great career as well. And that was my youth upbringing. So they had a real influence on me as a player, and looking back now, as a coach as well. Later on in my career, I started mentoring and tutoring for the Welsh FA, and I had good influence there. My line managers there, level 1 manager, level 2, and all the CPD events we put on there. was a great influence for me. We had people like Roberto Martinez, Brendan Rodgers, a lot of top managers coming in to our conferences, which as employees for the FAW were allowed to talk to, and which is a great influence. So there are direct influences for me. My parents, my youth football managers were direct. Indirect, as I got into coaching, scouting and that, I like to get a lot of resource and scour the internet for resources and stuff. And I came across a coach called Michael Bill. Used to be at Chelsea, then went to Liverpool, coached Liverpool under 21s, and now he's just, I believe, just been headhunted or gone assistant manager to some South American international team. But he was an indirect influence because I read all these coaching manuals and all these books, all these session plans, and I really liked him as a coach, his ideas, his philosophy, his sessions, which influenced me as a coach, how I coach as well. And I was lucky enough when I went lucky enough to go to Liverpool and spend a few days up there with the first team and the academy, and I actually got to see him coach as well, and I wasn't disappointed. But he was an indirect influence in my coaching journey as such. So So all I want you to do now, we're just going to do a task on relationships. So learning activity 2, you've got a circle. That's going to be you, okay? So put your name in it. Then what I would like you to do around the edge is put your direct and indirect influences around it, okay? You're going to have, but you got to, so yeah, indirect and direct. But also, was it a positive or negative influence as well? Off you go. Chris's name going to come up a lot now. Gosh, yeah. Your name's been brought up quite. Your name's been brought up quite a bit on that table.
For the groups? Oh, perfect, yeah. They can type it up.
You take pictures and put it on Twitter and stuff.
Put it on the Hive adult mentoring group.
But there's not a place where they can see it all.
Yeah, so they'll get access after session 2 to
Right.
the adult mentoring group, and it'll have all their pictures on,
Oh, good.
all the pictures of other courses,
That's good.
material for them training, stuff for them to go on their clubs. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
It's having that, making that discussion, that talk.
There's almost too much moving around in those first few tasks.
Yeah.
Because we've got the mark, we've got the shaking hands, and let's move again.
Yeah.
Top 10, then top 3. It's a bit too much. But actually,
Every time you do I did with the football leaders, and I've delivered it so many times, but it's always been different. And now I've got my model how I deliver it.
yeah.
The same with the C certificate. Now I've got my model.
For this course,
It's
we've
new.
sometimes got 6 in the room,
Yeah.
all mentor practitioners.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've got 27 in the room.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've just, that's what I was sitting there doing, working out pairs,
Yeah.
so that they work in a different system.
Do you want me to see if anyone want to share? Or
Sure.
was it, I'm just thinking time.
Put this one. Do you think it would add value?
Probably. No, it all depends of. No, I don't think it will.
Okay. No, no.
Well, it all depends on what they say in it. That's the thing. You can't.
If it's risk it, then that's
No, exactly.
750. We've got our own 10. We've got still got a bit to get through.
Yeah. Are you still looking to go out? Do you want me to take this off now?
We're not going to go out. Yeah, perfect. We're not going to go out because
Because I don't.
we've got a dedicated coach.
So we get one of them, but in the end, instead of.
Yes. You should have had it tonight.
Yeah, no.
Although we've only got 19 in the room and there's 24, so perfect. Okay, folks, just going to hold you there if you don't mind. Appreciate that. Firstly, you've seen 4 different people now, 3 different people presenting, and that hopefully is good. So you're not getting a monotone voice and a consistent delivery style. Maybe something you want to think about when you're going out and mentoring. If you're constantly working with one person, you're only ever giving them your view. Potentially might be worth getting somebody in to help you. You've got 18 people sitting in the room next to you. Share contacts. Can you come and help me out with this one? I'll come and help you out next week. Loads and loads of value in that. These people around the room get paid to do it. Lucky them. Grab them. Get them down to your club. See what they see. That task, and in terms of relationships, that's something that you're probably going to go away and ponder. And you might be sitting there and driving to work tomorrow and a new name will come into your head. Stuart asked you to think about both positive and negative influences. Again, we often like to remember the positives, but that one coach, I wasn't allowed to play football when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed. I had to wait